Brenda J. Lilly here from Creative Consultations. I just wanted to put out a small disclaimer before we launch into today's video that says I'm not a licensed therapist. I'm just here to engage, to encourage, and hopefully empower other artists to go out and live their art dream. So here we go. Enjoy the video. Well, good Monday morning, everybody. It is Monday morning, February 10th, and it is time for another Monday morning kickstart. If you like this video, and I sure hope you do, I hope that you will give it a thumbs up, that you will subscribe, and that you will share it with your friends, your family, everyone who needs to hear this today, so that we can keep on growing and becoming who we were created to be. All right, I'll see you on the flip side. Well, good Monday morning. Brenda J. Lilly here with Creative Consultations, and it is time for a Monday morning kickstart. And boy, oh boy, I hope you sure are ready. I know I am. I'm so ready, I forgot to stir my coffee. So all the good stuff is at the bottom. Oh my goodness. Just a little side note before we launch into the video. I remember my dad used to pour tons of sugar, like 4 teaspoons, tons of sugar into his black coffee, and then he wouldn't stir it, because he liked the sludge at the bottom as being his last sip of coffee. I don't like that. I like sweetness all the way through it, but I don't have time to get off the camera and go stir, because we've got to get to this today. I've talked about purpose a lot. I don't know about a lot, but we've talked about what is your purpose, finding your purpose. And I'm moving back to America soon, and to raise awareness, raise funds, do create the bridge, all of that. But with everything that's going on in the world, I've needed to take a step back and take a deep, abiding breath and say, what is my purpose? I've needed to go on actual prayer walks and talk about that with the Lord and say, God, what is it that you really have for me? Whatever it is, I know you created me with all of this stuff inside of me so that I can fulfill my purpose. I don't need to look for it outside of myself. I know that I have everything I need in order to succeed in what it is I'm supposed to be doing. I've talked a lot lately with friends, with family, about what our purpose is now. And I think it's important that we understand that we are living in really interesting times. And I'll put quotes around the word interesting. It's not that they aren't interesting, but it's interesting how full that word is in these days that we're walking in. And that leads me to my purpose. See, I can get distracted by everything going on around me. Every news report, every coming, every going, every move, every busy thing that's spinning around and trying to grab for my attention. Or I can stay focused. And so I'm not going to talk about finding your purpose today. I'm not going to talk about how to find your purpose today. I'm going to talk about focusing on your purpose. Because we can find our purpose. We can understand what our purpose is. But if we don't focus on the purpose, we will not accomplish our purpose. It takes a lot of focus to accomplish your purpose. The noisier the world gets, the more focus you will need to have. And that's not always easy for artistic people because a lot of us have ADHD. And so we go hurtling forward, and we either hyper focus on this one thing that's happening and we can't get our mind off it, and we ruminate and we ruminate and we keep on working. I mean, have you ever worked on a piece of art that that you're creating, and you get stuck in this one place where you're just like, it's just not right, and you just keep on pecking at it until finally you say to yourself, it's good enough, move on, or I'm never going to finish this piece. All the joy has gotten sucked out of creating this thing because I've been so fixated on this one thing. I'm not talking about getting fixated on a moment or fixated on one thing over the other. I'm talking about focusing on what you're supposed to be on about for your life. And for me, and for so many of us, I think that I think for all of us actually is not even one people group or another. We're supposed to be focused on each other. We're supposed to be taking care of our neighbors. We're supposed to be loving our neighbor as ourselves. We're supposed to be creating communities that love and honor and respect one another. So I mean, that's what the Bridge Artistic Network that I create and work in and hone is all about. That's what creative consultations is all about, is honoring your spirit, honoring what it is you bring to this world and helping you to become who you were created to be. I don't have to agree with you on every jot and tittle, but I have to love you and honor you and respect you. And we need to begin to rebuild a culture of mutual admiration, taking care. I remember when I was a little girl, so this wasn't horribly long ago. I mean, we're not talking 100 years, because, well, you wouldn't be talking to me now. And I don't know that at 100 I'd be as vivacious as I am right now. I hope so, but who knows? When I was a little girl, I knew all of our neighbors. My parents knew all of our neighbors. We went to our neighbors' houses and had lunch with them and played with their kids and went out on outings together. We knew each other. How many of you know your neighbors? How many of you take the time to say hello, to stop and say, "Hey, how's it going?" If one our next door neighbor in my hometown, well, we got new neighbors a few years ago, and they started a garden. But before that even happened, when they moved in, see, I lived in the European culture, and I was home raising funds to come back to Europe at the time, and so I was touring around with the Corey Show. This was before COVID, and they had just moved in, and I just happened to be walking by with my dog, and so I stopped and welcomed them to the neighborhood. And I shook their hands, I introduced myself, they introduced themselves, and I asked them what brought them to town, or were they from town, because I hadn't been in town for a few years. So, and I just had this lovely conversation, and I'll never forget the look on my family's face when I turned around. They were like, because I literally just decided, I didn't say, "Oh, hey, I'm going to go." I didn't make an appointment with them or anything. I just saw they were moving in, and I thought, "Hey, I'm going to go introduce myself." So many of us don't even think about doing that anymore because, oh, I don't want to interrupt them, or oh, I don't want to seem weird, or I don't want to be that neighbor, whatever that means. I think it's time that we start taking care of one another, that we start being interested in our neighbors, that we start acting neighborly one to another, and we stop believing the rhetoric that if we don't believe the same thing, if we don't think the same ways, that we can't that person, if they don't believe the same thing as me or look the same as me, that they're evil or wrong or not of my caliber. Certainly, as a Christ follower, I know that's not true. And that's not what we've been taught by Christ himself to do. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and love your neighbor as yourself. Those were the two most important commands to Jesus. And so they're the two most important commands to me. And they're not suggestions, they're commandments. So that's interesting to me, right? Because so much of that, the hateful rhetoric that's out there is love them if they believe the same as you. And if they don't, take them down, take them out, silence them. That's not correct. Jesus broke bread and sat down with so many people who were not like him, and he loved them right where they were at. Whether they wanted to follow him or not, believe in him or not, he loved them. And so that's what I'm going to do. And I know that that's my job, that's my journey, and that's my focus. So, with everything going on in the world, I can't change policy. I'm not in government, nor would I want to be. But I can meet the hatred with love. I can meet the disrespect with respect. I can meet the dishonor with honor. And I can listen to understand before I speak to be understood. I can reach out the hand of friendship to people all around me. I can make sure my neighbors have what they need. I might not be able to take care of all of the needs, but I can be there. Look, I think hard times are coming. The writing is kind of on the wall. And so, yeah, I'm going to create the Bridge Artistic Network, and I'm going to create community of artists who love, respect, support each other and each other's work. And I'm going to create communities of artists who are interested in taking care of each other, in loving each other, valuing each other. And in that way, no matter what is going on in the world, I get to focus on my purpose. And whatever is going on in the world will not distract me from my purpose. What's your purpose? Stay focused, folks. Don't get distracted with things that you have no authority over and no way to shift, change, or adjust. Don't get distracted. Stay on about what you're supposed to be on about. That's all I have for you today. It's a short video, and it's good because I've had to pause it 3 times to cough. So there you go. I hope you have a wonderful week. And I hope that as your purpose comes into your view, that you will give it your attention. And I hope that your purpose helps make this world a better place by creating and bringing love, respect, joy, wonder, and building into this world and building relationships with all who you meet. All right. Love you guys. Have a great week. Hey, thank you so much for watching our video. I hope you liked it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, subscribe. What are you waiting for? All right. I hope you all have a wonderful week. Bye.